Are you a mompreneur or a working mom who is struggling trying to get more done in a day? I get it. I've got 5 kids. I run a multiple 6-figure business. It's busy. And today I'm going to share with you my best time management tips so you can get more done and feel like a success every day. I'm Amy Walker and welcome to the CEO Spot. For all the tips that you need to grow your business and maintain balance in your personal lives, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification so that you can be notified when new videos come out every Tuesday. If you are a busy mompreneur or you're a working professional mom, I understand that you got a lot of demands on your time. I mean, let's be honest, if you're a stay-at-home mom, you've got a lot of demands on your time. We all do. And I feel like time management is one of the most critical skills that we need to learn in order to be able to effectively get the most important things done each day. And the challenge is that we have little interrupters. So we get the great plan in place and then the little interrupters come and everything falls apart. So if this is a frustration of yours, I'm going to share with you time management tips that actually work for mompreneurs, mom entrepreneurs, women who are working, and just, all the people that have kids and need to get more done. And if you need more help beyond what I'm talking about in this video, make sure that you download my 30 Days to Get More Done challenge. It is a challenge that will help you be able to be more productive with less stress and healthier boundaries around your time. So grab that, it's in the comments. All right, let's jump in. Before we get into our content, what is your number one challenge with time management and your family? I'd love to hear in the comments, and I'll even give you a personal suggestion. All right, let's jump into our tips. Tip number 1, stop fighting against time. Too often you are setting yourself up to fail because you just have a bad relationship with time. When I first discovered my relationship with time, I blamed time for all the things that were wrong in my life. I looked at time as the bad guy that kept me from doing all of the things that I wanted to do. And I resented time that it never seemed to show up in order to support me. I had a bad vibe with time. So I had to make friends with time and consider time to be my partner. So when time knocks on your door and says, here I am, I'm time, how do you feel about it? Do you look at time and say, well, you're not even enough? Do you feel like time controls you? Do you feel like you just don't even care about it and wish it wouldn't have come at all? Time is your greatest resource, and we need to actually make up with time. I know it sounds crazy, but it works. Within 1 week, I actually wrote a letter to time, making up with time, apologizing for how I had been treating it. And within 1 week, I had a better flow and I was doing a better job at managing my time, and I was actually getting places early instead of being late. So tip number 1, make up with time. Tip number 2 is do a daily brain dump. You hold too much information in your head, and this is part of the reason why you struggle to manage your time, because it's in here instead of it being on paper. So I have a spreadsheet that I use where I have my different roles in my life: daughter of God, wife, mother, my business, managing the house, and I brain dump everything that's in my head so I can actually see it and start to sort it. And you think it's going to take you too much time. It actually doesn't take a lot of time, because newsflash, you're not going to get all those things done in one day. So the next day, a lot of the stuff is still on there from the day before, and then you're just updating anything new. That way you're getting it out of your head and you're getting it on paper, and you can be more strategic about how you're going to plan out your day. Tip number 3 is to delegate, delete, and reschedule. So I delegate as much as I can. I tell my kids that it takes a family to run a family. There are 7 of us, so it takes 7 of us to run everything we need to do. So I give my kids chores and responsibilities. It's good for them. I also, in my business, have help, and I delegate there as well. If somebody else can do it, then somebody else should do it. They're probably going to do a better job than you would do anyway, so pass it off, and then you can focus on the things that are essential for you. That's how I delegate. Now, delete. Sometimes things take up mental capacity for us and we're worried about them and stressing about them. And when I actually stop to think about it, it's not that important at all. One time I was supposed to take my kids to an activity at the school that night. It was, I don't even remember what it was. And I was so stressed about how I'm going to get them all there. And when we got there and it was time to go, I just realized my kids are exhausted. What would be a higher level of benefit for them is for us to stay home, get the babies to bed on time, because they were babies at the time, and spend some quality time with my 3 older ones rather than dragging them all off. So I just deleted it and didn't feel any guilt about it. It wasn't the best thing for us to be doing. Be really clear on your schedule and the things that you're planning, that some of those things that are in your mind that feel like have-tos are not in the best interest of you, your family, your career, and delete them off and feel great about it. The last part is to reschedule. I have a rule that I don't think about something until I have time to do it. And the reality is some of the stuff that's on your to-do list today, you don't have time to do. So reschedule it to later in the week. If I am teaching, I teach Sunday school on Sundays. If I'm teaching a Sunday school class for the teenagers, I am probably not going to have time to actually plan out that lesson until Saturday. So I am not going to think about it until Saturday. And if you're thinking, but that's procrastination, how do you teach good lessons? I don't know, but I teach really great lessons and I plan them on Saturday. So I don't worry about it all week long. I don't feel guilty about it all week long. I actually schedule it for when I know I can accomplish it. So that's your next tip, is delegate, delete, and reschedule. It'll save you a ton of brain space. All right, my next tip for you is to pick your top 6. I have 6 things that I focus on accomplishing each day. Some days I get done more, but I always get done those 6 critical, essential things that are going to move me closer towards my goals. I don't have an undoable to-do list. I have 6 quality, important things that are the essentials. What happens when you have a long to-do list is that it's full of things that are squeaky wheel items that are going to maintain where you're at in your life and your business today, but they're not going to progress you forward to where you ultimately want to be. So get rid of them. Focus on the 6 essential things and you can get them done every single day. And it feels really awesome. My next tip for you is time blocking. One of the challenges that we have as busy working moms and busy entrepreneurs is we jump back and forth between our roles. So we do a little bit of mom duty, we do a little bit of work duty, and then we do a little bit more work duty, and then we do this different work duty, and then we're back to mom duty, and our mind never really truly gets to focus on anything. So I have themes for my days. Monday is my day where I put on my CEO hat and I work for my business. Tuesday is my day where I do marketing work for my clients. Wednesday is my day where I do production work for my business. Thursday is a sales day. I try to get as many sales opportunities and sales calls going on Thursdays as possible. So I time block my days so I can have a focus, I can really get into a flow, and I can get so much more done. Do you know it's easier to write 4 blog posts in 2 hours than it is to write a blog post a week? Because you'll spend an hour on each one. So it cuts your time in half if you will just time block and give yourself time to focus on things. Tip number 5 is to use Google Calendar and sync it to everybody's calendars. I don't know if you have this problem, but I have this problem where people say, I have this thing. And I go, but I have this thing. And they want me to be at 2 places at once. If it's not on the calendar, then it's not my fault, right? Like if it's on the calendar, I'll plan to be there. But if it wasn't on the calendar, then it's not my fault and I'll go if I can, but I don't have to be there because you didn't put it on the calendar. This works particularly well with spouses and older kids and clients. And so I have my calendar, and then I have the band's calendar, and then I have the cross country's calendar, and I have all the different calendars synced. Even some of my critical clients, I have their calendars synced so that I can look in and I can see what's going on in all of the different areas before I overcommit myself and double book. And it allows me to be able to pass off some of that responsibility that I am not the master scheduler of the entire universe. Yay, I love that. So use Google Calendar because it allows you to plug in, and a lot of your schools and a lot of your clients, they're using Google Calendar as well. So you can see them and see the full picture of everything that's going on and everything that's coming up. My last tip is to understand what is an emergency and what is not an emergency. I think a lot of the reasons why we struggle with time management is because we respond to every distraction as though it's an emergency. There are clear emergencies. When you get a call from the school saying your child is throwing up, you have to drop everything and go pick them up. When there's a death in the family, that's an emergency. When we had an emergency recently where I got a call from Adult Protective Services about my grandmother, and we had to get her moved out because she was not coping on her own. So that was an emergency, and we dropped everything, we took care of it. Those are emergencies. Your best friend asking you to go out to lunch, not an emergency. Your neighbor asking you to watch her kids because she needs to go run an errand, not an emergency. Your kids calling you because they forgot to do something, not your emergency. And so when we respond to everything like it's an emergency and we drop everything for other people's agendas, ours never gets done. And we end up being frustrated, we're less productive, our family doesn't know that they can count on us. And I know that sounds funny, saying no to your family makes them feel like they can count on you. It does, because they know what to expect from you. You're not all over the place. They know that if they want you, they've got to tell you, and that if it's a true emergency, you're going to be there no matter what. But if it's just them having poor planning, then they're going to accept the consequences of that. So that is my tips for you to be able to do a better job with time management while you are that mompreneur, busy working mom, whatever you want to call yourself. Honestly, those are good tips for your stay-at-home moms as well. So there you have it. Those are my tips for time management. So now that you've got my tips, if you want more help and more support in getting your time in order, make sure that you click the link in the description and go get that 30-day Get More Done challenge so that you can experience stress-free productivity. Also, if you want to join a community of entrepreneurs just like you, go into the description. Join the CEO Spot. It's our private Facebook community where you can interact with other entrepreneurs and ask your questions. And if you liked this video, I would love to hear from you. Make sure that you leave me a comment, like, subscribe to the channel, share this with any other busy moms out there that you feel like could use some help with their time management. I'm Amy Walker, and thanks so much for watching the CEO Spot.